In this video, we are going to discussing about zoonosis. This is a last point of this unit 1. Zoonosis is a infectious disease caused by pathogen, bacteria, virus, parasites in animals as well as plants and human being also. The 6th July is celebrated as World Zoonosis Day. This is to recognize the logical progression of overseeing the main inoculation against the zoonotic alignment. Zoonosis are irreversible illnesses brought about microorganism infections, parasites that spread among the creatures and people. This date 6th July is chosen because on this day 6th July 1885 Louis Pasteur administered the vaccine rabies. Rabies is a most important and most useful vaccine against this rabies disease is formed on this day, on the 6th July. Zoonosis means all the modes of transmission causes zoonosis. The animals, insects from the all environmental categories infect the human being, and sometimes reverse zoonosis is also there, and this include the many diseases. List is very high and threat is also very high from these infections, from these diseases. The following are the some diseases listed in this slide: the plague, tuberculosis, feline scratch fever, tick paralysis, hand virus, the ringworm, salmonellosis, leptospirosis, Lyme sickness, campylobacter contamination, giardia contamination, cryptosporidium contamination, roundworms, hookworms, scabies, gather parasites, rabies. This list is very long and which causes harm to human health as well as wellness. This all the modes of transmissions are there which increases the threat, and it should be studied well, it should be treated well as they can be prevented. The transmissions are of two types: direct transmission and indirect transmission. These transmission causes by the pathogens, the number of pathogen is very high. The types of diseases are nearly about 1415. Out of these, 61% were zoonotic diseases. Hence, zoonosis has a importance. The direct transmissions are through droplet spread from the sneezing, coughing, talking, skin contacts, sexual contacts, etc. Through these ways, the pathogens, viruses, bacteria, or the worms, parasites are transferring from the one animal to another animal or one vehicle to another host. These transmissions are through symptomatic carriers as well as asymptomatic carriers. Means sometimes you can observe the patient which is showing a symptoms. Sometimes the person or the animal do not show any symptom, but their transmission is present, their body consists of the pathogens, viruses or the parasites, and due to which the diseases get spread. The indirect transmissions by the vectors. Vectors include the two types of mechanical vectors as well as biological vectors. The indirect transmission is through also another type, that is vehicles also. First we will see the vectors. The most well known example is mosquito. Mosquito spreads many diseases. Out of that, most well known disease is malaria. Another fevers are there, and it is through its feeding habit. It is the mechanical vector which without itself being affected, for example house flies or cockroaches, means the bacteria or pathogens are transferred indirectly along with the body parts, but inside the vector's body there is no any connection or no any growth. This is mechanical vectors. Next one is biological vectors. Biological vectors shows the reproduction of pathogen into its body. Means biologically vectors are involved in completion of life cycle of that pathogen or parasite or virus, and hence they are called as biological vectors. These types of transmissions are there, and the another type other than the vectors, there are vehicles. Vehicles acts as a passive transmission in between the 2 points, that is pathogen and host. Likewise, the vectors directly gets transferred from the point of pathogen to the host. The vehicles are of different type. First one is food. When we use the contaminated food with a pathogen, parasite or virus, we get a disease, and in this way this indirect transfer or transmission takes place. Next one and most important causative agent is water, contaminated water. Always there is a contamination in water which is coming from the hospitals as well as laboratories, but household water also consists of a considerable amount of pathogens as well as parasites. Hence such things are helping in transmission of diseases. Next one is blood. When there is a need of blood and blood transfusion takes place, that process may cause the infection. Nowadays all the blood laboratories or blood banks check the blood sample. Inside the blood there is no any pathogen, it is checked, but there is possibility of transmission or during the transferring procedure. Hence it is also acting as a vehicle. Next one is fomites. Nowadays we are all going through the corona pandemic, and total spread and all the new scientific terminologies related with the corona, we are well known about that. This term, that is fomites. Fomites means the surfaces or the any material which is coming contact with the pathogen or the person which is infected. And due to such a contact, due to such a connection in between surface which is contaminated and surface which is an other healthy person, and such a transfer is there, and fomites also play the role in transmission of the diseases. In this way, we are studying about the host parasite relationship. This first unit is giving information about all the aspects of hosts, parasites, their limitations, and their the transmission range into not only state, not only in country, but it is worldwide nature.